concerned is your basic stance. Power comes from the floor, so if the ground's wrong, the upper body's wrong. So making sure you've got this toes in apex triangle and your knees point to exactly the same place. So when you're teaching, one of the things you can look for is to make sure that you can't see the inside edge of the foot lifting or the outside edge, because that will tell you that they're either pressing out and not pulling in with the adductors, or they're pulling in too much and stressing the knee joints. So if you can make sure that when you look down to here, visually, if you get them to stand and put the chin on the chest without leaning forward, you should not be able to see your toes, because your kneecaps visually conceal the toes of your shoes. At the same time, if I turn sideways, but you should also be able to get them to check from here, if they just drop the fingers, relax the hand and point their index finger, your index finger should approximately point through the centre of your heel. So if their posture is wrong, you'll see that. If their stance is not correct, their fingers will point to the floor, and if their stance is too narrow, the fingers will point to the floor. And then the easy way to think about it is, if you're looking at their stance, if you see Marble Arch, it's wrong, and you see the Eiffel Tower, or Blackpool Tower, depending on where you come from, it's correct. So that's my checklist. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, this should be relax, relax, contract, relax, relax, contract. It's all about training what's called type 2 fast fibre muscle twitches, which is the muscle of the triceps, the grey fibres that make it fast. And then when you punch, the key is don't punch yet, let the elbow come in behind the wrist, because the elbow needs to support the wrist, and then you fire off. When you do Hun Sao, get them to put the finger on their elbow to make sure that they're not rotating the elbow. So many people do that, and the elbow rotates, which means they're training their rotator cuffs. The idea of Hun Sao is to train the guidelines and the tendons in the carpal tunnel, so you don't rotate the elbow. And then here, the first thing I would get them to do is to make sure that they drop the elbow. So if I turn sideways, you can see how this bone is sticking out at an angle. Yeah. So just let it rotate vertically, but keep the Tan Sao on the right angle, because by the time you're here, you've created the right forearm angle, the differential between the wrist height and the elbow height. That's what makes Tan Sao work. And you push from the elbow, mentally connecting the elbow to the heel, so you're pushing up from the heel, through the legs, through the elbow, tracking forward, one fist distance. And if you remember, we talked a little bit earlier on, get from about the sternum to about your chin height, and everything follows that line. There's the Tan. Jump Sao tracks back down the same. Foot Sao takes the same line. And we'll repeat 3 times. I'll do it quite quickly. Pak Sao tracks, follows that line, forward. Pak Sao, back, vertical palm, Hun Sao, back down the side, and then repeat. And I'm always trying to track that same line. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the first section is called Gunglik. Gunglik means 2 things, depending on which Chinese character you're using. Lik means elbow, Gung means internal energy. So you're basically, as you're pushing from the floor, you're connecting your elbow to your heel and you're pushing forward. So you're basically learning to do this. And when you're coming back, you're connecting your elbow to your heel and you learn to do that. So you learn to push and pull against the resistance. The resistance in this case is the natural tension of the biceps. So it's done very, very slowly, forward, back. Notice the elbow's not out, it protects the ribs, and let it naturally pivot round here and just arc it back. Hook Sao forward, drag it back. Try and take the same line every time. And back. Second section is called Farging. Farging means inch energy, short, sharp bursts of movement. So what you're looking from here is to connect the heel of the palm to the heel of the foot. So relax, relax, wait for the elbow to come in behind it, snap it out, switch off, snap it out, switch off, short like the hip behind, relax, snap it out, switch off, hands nice and relaxed. Energy in fact has got to go that way, not pivotal. So you let your elbow come behind the shoulder, get the elbow in line, the wrist in line with the shoulder, and then drive it out, back. Jump Sao comes in for body cover, There's the jump sao, tan, jut, bu, and then back. Then on your third section, you just relax, relax, pak sao, wang chun, pak sao, to wang chun, tan sao, relax it because there's no point in doing tan sao until it's there. Cut gan sao down, tan sao forward. Most important is drop that wrist to cut inside. Low side palm. Tan, gan, tan, yun sao, cutting low, low wang chun, back, lifting the bong sao, tan, tok sao. Again taking that same line, lift the bong sao, drop it, follow the forearm up for tok sao, down the centre, push and pull, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Do not rotate the elbow.
Can I just ask about the second section? In one lineage, this downward bit before coming back up, this is another jut, and in another lineage, it's a lat sao, freehand.
Okay, it's easier to show you without the camera because I can get you to practice it.
Okay.